hello, everybody, and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 297, Learn to Avoid Squirmy Weather, for April 5th, 2024. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Tyler, I'm going to try to keep my energy level up today, but for some reason, my eyes feel heavy. I don't know what it is, man. You know, maybe it's just
one of those
April.
days.
I can't believe we're in Q2. It's here. I'm telling you, Christmas was last week. I don't even know what's going on, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
What's
here
new
in
with you?
Colorado, we're getting into allergy season, so my eyes are right at the precipice. If I touch them once, they will go bloodshot red. So I know the feeling of feeling a little bit out of it.
And you and I were talking the other day about this reversed weather scenario that's going on. We've got the same thing here now, where it's like, you're in Colorado now, I'm down in Las Vegas, but I'm telling you, beautiful weather during the middle of the week, and then the weekends just go to pot. It's horrible. It's rough. But summer will be here soon, my friend, and there we go. So, well, enough of this. Let's get right on into the show with our announcements and events. So first, a word from our sponsors.
Junk data can clog up your CRM, making it harder to focus on the records that matter. Next thing you know, you've got a mountain of records to sort through, and you're not even sure where to start. This is why we created the Zenatta Health Check for Zoho CRM. This extension reads your Zoho CRM's users, leads, deals, accounts, contacts, and tasks data, and provides you with a monthly summary straight to your inbox of some of the key indicators of data quality for these core modules. With the Zenatta Health Check, you'll get notified in your monthly report whether or not you have unused Zoho CRM licenses, or if you have contacts missing email addresses, or accounts with no associated contacts. In addition, you'll get links to helpful videos and blogs from the Zenatta Resource Library showing you how you can clean up your system and keep it clean. We also include buttons on each of the core modules that let you generate your health check report whenever you need it. The Zenatta Health Check for Zoho CRM. A clean system is a better system. Download today on the Zoho Marketplace.
Are you struggling to get your team trained in using Zoho effectively? Considering the hefty costs of team meetings and onboarding sessions dedicated to Zoho training, there has to be an easier way. Say hello to efficiency with our Zoho team training courses. Zoho CRM Made Easy. Become a project management pro, top-tier customer support, and maximize your marketing impact. Are you ready to equip your team? Start today at zenatta.com/training and let us lead the way.
Well, Tyler, not a lot in the announcements of events category this week. Zoho's got nothing new since last week. We are doing our Zoho One and Beyond, an overview of every Zoho application. We met with the team yesterday and kind of went round and round. This is going to be a good one. We're going to try to keep this under 5 hours, so everybody just drop in. That's going to be April 16th at 10 a.m. on YouTube. Mark your calendars. And as always, if you want to know any announcements or events or find out what's going on in the world of Zoho, please head over to Club Zenatta. That is our online community where you can ask questions, you get tips of the week, you can ask for videos to be made, participate in our community, and it's a nice place. All we ask for is your email, and you will get our newsletter every week as well. So head over to club.zenatta.com. And with that, we got a quasi-busy news week, so let's get right to the news. All right, Tyler, Zoho Learn 2.0 has been announced. For those of you that don't know, Zoho Learn is your internal, basically LMS, learning management system. It's not for external users. This is what you build to train your team internally. And so Zoho Learn 2.0 has been released. Not the 2024 edition like we saw last week, but this is just Zoho Learn. And it's fairly nice. They've added, to me, as I kind of scroll through this, the big thing is they now have SCORM compliance. And any any LMS out there that is worth its weight has SCORM compliance. This is kind of the industry standard for testing and compliance while you're taking a learning management course. So they have gone ahead and built that in as well, which is very, very nice. And then kind of a few other things in here. You've got department level training, so you can target very specifically around that. You've got drive course completion, so you basically can set automatic reminders to learners. This is kind of some basic stuff that a lot of big LMS have, but very, very nice that you can now actually start nudging people, hey, finish the course. Mandatory articles, so you can make some, they've got to read it. It's must read. You actually can set timers around that as well. Anything else in this that kind of jumped out at you?
Yeah, I mean, we went over it at the top end. I like being able to organize things by department, especially I would assume their long-term goal there is that if you were to add someone to learn from Zoho 1, you kind of set them in a designation, which puts them in the department, which then gives them those courses. So that's really nice to have. I think the big one, you kind of hit on it, is SCORM compliance, just to be able to actually move data into Zoho Learn more easily, I think is a big deal, right? A lot of people might have considered, especially if you're on Zoho 1, right? And Zoho Learn came out, like 18 months back or so. I think it hit like full release.
Yeah.
I guarantee there have been people saying, I can't wait to move to Learn once SCORM compliance is released. Because it's in Zoho 1, you're already paying for it, but the amount of labor required to move a very full-fledged, like fleshed out LMS over manually without being able to do it this way is a lot. That is a lot of work. This makes it a lot less work. So I would expect to see a lot of people kind of jumping in at this point now that they've made it a whole lot easier to get started.
Yep, very, very cool. So it's a good job from the team here. We actually use this internally a lot. I mean, Zoho Learn is kind of basic. We set this up for a lot of clients who want to have internal training. Oftentimes it's just, let's just set up internal training around Zoho 1, around specific use cases that happen inside, in whatever instance we're building for someone. So it's a very, very good application. So if you are a Zoho 1 user, this is included in your bundle there. You should go ahead and check it out.
To make it a lot easier for large companies to use this tool. So well worth it.
And then for our next story, we've got a little bit of a PSA. Their Zoho Social will be discontinuing Facebook groups due to an API deprecation. This just isn't Zoho Social. This is any third-party social management app. Basically, Meta has killed the API integration to Facebook groups, which is, a bit unfortunate. If you're unfamiliar, Facebook groups is where you can set up a kind of a group around common interests and, invite people to join. And it's kind of your own little social world where you're discussing a specific topic. I could imagine that if you are running social media for someone, this is going to be a real pain. But starting April 22nd, and a lot of these platforms, they like to take away API access because they don't want people using a third-party tool. They want them going directly to their site and doing it that way. So it's, you see this all the time. Twitter just did a major ripping out of their APIs to force people on platform. This kind of happens.
It's cost cutting too. Like I know for X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that's been a big part of their strategy is a lot of these APIs are going away to reduce the cost of usage. I think Facebook, it's probably more centered around your idea there of like bringing the users back on platform. But kind of always a shame when they do this. Like you mentioned, this is not just social. This is really any platform, Hootsuite, whatever that's posting here is not going to be able to do it after this change. Reach out to Facebook if you want to sign the petition that this should come back. Otherwise, prepare to log directly in to make posts to any groups that you may be managing.
I was looking at this, thinking about Facebook groups the other day, and I miss Google Plus. I miss the circles.
You're the one guy who misses Google Plus.
I am the one guy. It was the best social network. I'm telling you, it was great. But Google is ruthless on killing products, man.
The Google graveyard. It's always growing.
Oh, it's huge. They just rip the carpet right out from underneath you with a rug. Anyway, so if you are a Facebook groups user, you're going to have to add one extra step in your social media day, and that's going to be logging in manually and making your post. All right, and moving on with the news in Zoho News. This is kind of cool. If you're a Google Chat user, basically Zoho has made it so almost anything you could do in Click, it seems like you're now able to do in Google Chat. You can basically post conversations. You can have workflows that drop in various things. The workflows is the big one as I was going through here. The fact that you can do automatic notifications through workflows that's the game changers.
Very similar to a lot of the things we do with Click. It's one of those things that I always think about, hey, if you're using Zoho CRM, why aren't you already on Click? But then I have to remember not everyone is on Zoho One. Not everybody has Click. You might have been using Google Chat for a long time and it's integrated into all your workspace. Always nice to see CRM just connecting with more of these tools. I am always a big proponent of internal notifications not being sent via email, but being sent through tools like this. So great to see it. I'm sure this will make some Google Chat users very, very happy, at least until they switch over to Click and see the light.
Yeah, and I like Google Chat a lot. I mean, we have Click, and there's just no reason to use it ever internally, but it's a pretty nice tool, Google Chat. So there you go. Nice job, CRM team. And moving along with the news, Zoho Campaigns now syncs guest checkout, not logged in users, data for WooCommerce stores. You were pretty excited about this one because I guess in the past, if you weren't signed in, you were just kind of going through, nothing came over.
Yeah, so it's a process everyone's kind of familiar with, right? You go to an e-commerce site, you're going to buy a product. It says, sign in, create an account, or check out as guest. I am a prolific check out as guest clicker. I always check out as a guest because I don't like receiving marketing emails. But this will essentially get around that. So now when somebody does check out as a guest on WooCommerce without creating an account, that data will still be synced over to Zoho Campaigns and allow you to do marketing to those groups. So this is something that for some people, if like a lot of their customers choose to create an account, this is a minor update. For other businesses that might have a larger percent of people that only ever check out as a guest, this is a big benefit, right? Because now all of them will become available for doing your marketing, right? So we know they bought product A. 1 month later, we want to send them an email with a discount for product B, right? You can now do that type of activity for people who have checked out via guest. It does bring up an interesting topic. You had asked before the show, did this come out from marketing automation as well? We don't think so. There's no post about it on the marketing automation side, so we'd have to assume it did not. We can never really assume that a feature that lands on one is going to come out for the other. It's in a real weird place right now as a product. This looks to be only for Zoho Campaigns. We could be proven wrong, and it might get added to marketing automation as well. I'd have to think their integrations are basically the same. I don't know why they wouldn't be using essentially the same integration, but nonetheless, right now, as stated, this is for Zoho Campaigns, but I would have to assume it will be available in marketing automation as well, and maybe they just didn't announce it. Again, just put an asterisk on this if you're a marketing automation user.
Well, and we were talking last week or the week before that about how we're not really seeing a lot of changes in campaigns. Like there hasn't been a lot of updates. It's all been marketing automation. And we were guessing, I wonder if they're just kind of freezing campaigns. I guess not. At least some small changes like this have been done. By the way, did you hear about that? I was reading about there's some dairy farmer in the Midwest that's spinning up. He hired a team. He's spinning up his own online commerce storage.
Really?
WooCommerce. Yeah, WooCommerce. Yeah.
Very nice. Very
Crazy.
nice. Good job, Brett.
Crazy. I know.
There's your stinger opener, Freddie, to get the show started. Freddie always likes a good cold open, and that might be the best we've got.
Not as far-fetched as it sounds. I don't know if you know, I used to work for Micron Technologies, the chip manufacturer.
Okay.
Way back in the day. And this is a true story I'm about to tell. And in Idaho, one of the top potato farmers, right, invested in them because they were a chip manufacturer. He thought they were a potato chip manufacturer. I kid you not. And that was how an investment came in.
Probably
There's a
made good
person
money
just
on
said,
that
hey,
buy though.
he did exceptionally well. I wonder, he's probably shocked when he found out what he actually invested in, but there you
Hey,
go.
a win's a win.
All right. And moving on, Zoho Recruit now has assessment-based filters. We were talking about this. They have changed a lot of the assessment. They're really changing the filters where people now will match based on certain criteria you're selecting. This is kind of taking that down to another level where you can actually manually kind of go in and filter candidates' assessments based upon their answers. Just another way of kind of filtering the candidates. We probably need to implement this. I think we did a job posting on LinkedIn and got how many? 200? What? How many?
Many.
Did we
Many,
get?
too many.
Many.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's over 100. Yeah, and this kind of nice. It's similar to in CRM. If you're looking at a list of contacts, you can filter based on like their related deal activity or related task activity. This is a similar workflow, so you're using those quick filters. Assessments, honestly, are one of the best things about Recruit, that you can tie in these like specific types of question and answers to any different step in the recruiting process. So being able to use that data is very useful, right? Because we've just captured it. And kind of the example they show here is on a general screening, maybe you have a question, are you willing to relocate? That is a make or break question, right? For some job opening. So being able to just quickly filter down the candidates to only see ones that have answered in certain ways will surely make people's life easier as they're parsing through large lists of applicants.
Yes. And you do need this because people absolutely just ignore some of the requirements that are on a job posting all the way around.
Yep.
One of ours is that you need to be in the Americas, so we're all in the same time zone kind of thing, and people don't care. They just doesn't matter. They
Don't get
post
that.
they apply from everywhere. Those things. So nice job on Zoho Recruit. And with that is going to wrap up the news. So let's get on over to our implementation of the week.
All right, so this is an implementation here centered around Zoho Books and automating the activation of bank payments for customers. So inside of Zoho Books, essentially there is the ability to integrate a variety of different payment processing tools. One of the most popular ones is Stripe, and Stripe can allow for credit card as well as ACH payments right against your invoices. So as you know, ACH payments are cheaper, right? You're not paying that 2.9%. So if a customer wants to pay with ACH, you kind of want to let them, right? Because it's still going to reconcile against the invoice, it's still going to close everything out just like a credit card payment would. It just ends up being a little cheaper. But when a customer is created in Books, by default, they will not be allowed to make bank payments. There's a little checkbox on the customer record that enables those bank payments for a particular customer. In our case, and for a lot of our customers' cases, we always want that turned on. We would never want someone to not be able to make an ACH payment through Stripe. Again, just keeping in mind that it's a cheaper way of processing the payment for us. So what we do is set up a quick little reference table in Zoho Analytics that shows all of the customers where bank payments are not yet enabled. And then we can use a scheduled function to check that list every couple hours as new accounts are created and make an update into Zoho Books to enable bank payments for that customer. Now, maybe thinking, well, why would you do this as a schedule? You could do it as a workflow, right? Where anytime a Books account is created, it would just check that box. And that would be the ideal way to do it because it would happen immediately. The trick is, in a lot of cases, Zoho Books customers are going to be created via an integration with Zoho CRM, right? So when your lead gets converted, it creates this contact and account, and then those will sync over into Zoho Books. Well, when a Books customer is created via the CRM integration, it does not trigger workflows. So we've got to work around that a little bit. And instead we do it on this scheduled basis, just to make sure that every single customer has those bank payments enabled, and they're able to make that ACH payment and save us, 2.9% basically on the back end, against billing on credit cards.
And here's a thought, Zoho Books team. Make this something you can just set by default, and we don't have to go through any of this.
It would save a step. It would definitely save a step. The good news is I actually think we may have this as a code share. If not, we can add it as one, because it's pretty easy. It's a quick little table and then a quick little function, right? Like altogether, probably 5 lines of SQL and 5 lines of Deluge to get this done. So yeah, it would be a good one for a code share, maybe, if we don't already have it. Expect that to come in the future.
Yep. Fantastic. Nice implementation. And like you mentioned, it just saves you a ton of money if you can get people to
Yeah.
pay by ACH.
Even like
It's
10,
definitely
15% of your customers switch over. That's a significant savings at the end of the day, because you're not paying out that, 2.7, 2.9% on every transaction.
all right. And with that, let's head over to our code share of the week. This comes from Mr. Greg Belknap, who is currently on his honeymoon as he got married last weekend. Congratulations, Greg. Yet still found time before he headed out to do a nice little code share for us. So Tyler, generating API credentials for Zoho to use in a third-party API app. So basically, what Greg is using an example here is you have a webmaster, they want to write code on your WordPress site, that they call your Zoho account. Here's how you can get them credentials through an API.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, when you're doing an integration into Zoho, there's a handful of different tokens and IDs that you need, kind of like client ID, client token. And then you use those on a regular basis to get an access token, which will allow you to make like one specific request into Zoho. It's not a super obvious process. So oftentimes if we're working with a third party that wants to access the Zoho API from their environment, we'll kind of help them set up some of the bones, right? And make sure that they're able to get these various tokens and IDs that they're going to need. So really what Greg is doing here, and it's a great way to handle it, is he essentially has gone through, he's set up the client. Again, we've got a whole slideshow that he put together on how to do it, but he's set up the client, he's pulled the relevant data, and then he's made that data the response of a standalone function. So now that third-party developer can just call that function, get everything that they need, and then make the update into Zoho. So just saves a lot of time, saves a lot of confusion, makes it feel a little bit more natural for a third-party developer just to interact with the Zoho API.
Yeah. And Greg has gone, as you mentioned, over and above here. And if you're watching us on YouTube, he's put together a 13-slide deck, step by step. So not only give you the code, he's basically showing you step by step how to do this. So well worth taking the time to look into that, especially if you're one of these new WooCommerce users and you're setting that up. You're going to need some API.
Yeah.
You're going to need some API integrations there. Yeah.
Makes your integration smooth as butter.
Oh, wow.
Let's just end the show on that. That's a good closer.
Well done. All right. With that, let's head over to Zenatta.com and see what we've got going on over there. Hey, we've got a new case study this week, Tyler. So shout out to Heather over at Made Apparel. They are a company that basically assists emerging designers in getting their products to market. So you've got some cool clothing idea, some cool apparel idea. They do everything from taking it from concept to market. We've been working with them for a little while now, and kind of an ongoing implementation using bookings and projects and CRM and Zoho One and a variety of things. So you can read all about that over at Zenatta, but we wanted to thank Heather so much for that. You can check that out. All of our case studies, by the way, if you're on our main page, you can just hover over about, and then click on case studies, and all of our case studies are there. So you can kind of go through and check them out. Find one maybe that fits your industry, read about it. But we try to get one of these up every single month from our clients. We want to thank our clients who actually let us get that posted up there. And also over on Zenatta, kind of in, this is a good one. I've said this since we started doing this show, the best project management tool is the project management tool you like. And Zoho has had for the longest time, they've had a traditional project tool in Zoho Projects. They've had an agile development tool in Zoho Sprints, and they have been missing basically a spreadsheet-based project management tool like Smartsheets or Airtable. And they came out with Zoho Tables here recently. Tyler, I think you did a full review of that as well and posted it up on YouTube. And so we're doing a little article here comparing the three to choose which one's right for your needs. Again, in my opinion, I know that they do all vary, but it's whatever you can work in and whatever you can get done. But I mean, to break it down pretty simply, massive projects, lots of tasks, lots of milestones, lots of people involved. Zoho Projects is probably the way to go. If you're doing something in the sprint-based world where you're just here's a chunk of stuff we're going to do, then here's a chunk of stuff we're going to do, and you're kind of doing it that way, Zoho Sprints is for you. And then Zoho Tables kind of can be for everything else. I mean, there's just so much you can do with it.
Kind of built around customization and flexibility. So you kind of able to build your own structure within tables. And they've got some templates that would align with kind of a lightweight version of projects, a lightweight version of sprints. But the big thing is just being able to customize it exactly how you like it. Like some people will look at sprints and get thrown off by a lot of the terminology, right? You have an epic, and in your epic, you have stories, and in each story you have, these different things. And it gets a little confusing for people. So Tables is kind of that option that starts simple, but has the ability to be customized and automated with a high degree of flexibility. So worth taking a look at. Nice thing is Zoho Tables will be included with Zoho One. If it's not included right now for you, it just means they haven't rolled it out, and you can reach out to support@zohotables.com and they will activate it inside of your Zoho One licensing.
And I'll make it simple. If you're using Microsoft Projects, go to Zoho Projects. If you're using Jira, go to Zoho Sprints. If you're using Airtable or Smart Tables, go to Zoho Tables, and that'll do it for you. What did you think of it? I know you were a huge Airtable fan. We talked about this before, but you were pretty impressed for a V1 with Zoho Tables.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I mean, there's some things that I'm sure they're going to add over time. Like if you look down here below, there's definitely more integrations that we'd like to see. Right? Like a big one at least would be Flow. I do want to play around with the CRM integration. Expect a video on that one soon here, because that's pretty interesting, right? Like imagine all your CRM tasks get synced over into a table and you can work them there. Get a Kanban board. We'll finally shut you up on the CRM's Kanban boards for tasks. We'll just pull them over to tables. Definitely need some more integrations. I will say the automation portion of it will definitely be developed more. Like you can't currently trigger deluge. You can do a lot and it's pretty intuitive how you can set up automations, but I would always like to just be able to trigger a deluge function. It's really solid for a version 1, and I expect that as usage picks up and Zoho gets more and more feedback, it will only get better.
Yeah, and it might be a little bit of work, but technically, since Tables does integrate over to CRM, you could then integrate it into everything else. It would just be a multi-step process.
True.
Right?
Yeah, just trigger all your you would trigger everything from CRM. But yeah, that is true.
You could work that around in the interim if that's what you wanted to do. All righty, nice job. And with that, let's head over to our YouTube channel and check out our tip of the week. All right. Well, Josh is back with customer portals in Zoho Creator. He's got a beginner's tutorial here. This is big. We have a massive creator portal, definitely not a simple one that actually handles the entire back end of our business or most of the back end of our business. It's our It is what our customers see when they log in, handles the onboarding process, day-to-day operations, booking meetings, notifications, all that's kind of handled in there as well. It now is handling even our entire overall sales process. I mean, there's just so much you can do with Zoho Creator. But we do have a lot of clients that come on, they look at that and they say, I want a portal. And I know we've actually been working on kind of building out one that could be kind of a plug and play with some minor modifications for people. But for those of you who are dabbling in Zoho Creator, Josh has been doing an entire series. You should check them out. And he is going to kind of step you through what it takes to set up a portal, connect it to the CRM, connect it to whatever you need to connect it to, and go through the over process so you can have a customer-facing portal. What a lot of people don't realize also with Creator, because there's your basic Creator setup, and you look at it, and every Creator app will look exactly the same. But you can do HTML, and you can do CSS, and you can do some very, very nice things to make it not look like Zoho Creator in a lot of ways, and kind of really, truly customize it. So nice job, Josh, in setting this up. Anything to add to that, buddy?
No, I mean, Josh is the guy who runs our portal. If there's anyone to learn from, he is the one. So this video goes over a lot of the basics, right, around getting it set up, doing some of the initial customization, adding your permissions, because some different types of permissions you may need to write a little script for to kind of filter or show some data selectively. Yeah, great walkthrough. This is an awesome place to start if you are thinking about building a portal through Zoho Creator.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned he has Oliver and Company on here. Is there something we need to know about here? I don't know. What has Josh got going on? A little mutiny happening. All right. And also, well, with that, great job, Josh. Let us head to Azaz's question of the week. And Greg is trying to answer the age-old question this week of what should you use, CRM subforms or related lists? What do you choose? John Bloomfield had asked the question, and so we're kind of going into it in detail. And you know what? Each one does have their place. Subforms, it's crazy, were released in 2019 at Zoholics. That was the release of those. And it has been the slowest burn to add in functionality that has been needed. But it seems like every year incremental progress has been made on those. And I know we're a lot higher on subforms now than we were, but there are limitations of forms where you might want to, I mean, are we still limited to 100 rows, 200 rows?
I think it's, 100 or 200 per record. Yeah, so there are some limitations, and there's things you can and can't do with them. There's benefits. I mean, users like them. If you're doing like quoted items on a deal, subforms probably great. But there are cases where related lists are just going to have a lot more functionality. So Greg does a great job here kind of breaking down pros and cons of the two, a couple examples of when you might use one over the other. So yeah, great job, Greg, on this. And everybody, let us know kind of what you think of the new format for Azaz. We're trying to make them just a little tighter, a little more focused as we jump in. So yeah, just let us know what you think over in the comment section on that video.
Yeah. And, it's funny, we have one comment here on the other, which is he dislikes subforms that lacks history tracking. There are some things.
Yeah, no timeline. That's actually a great call out. There's no timeline on a subform row, right? And so if you do need that timeline or any auditability, then it can't really be a subform. That's a great comment. So yeah, altogether, well worth taking a look at this one if you're kind of planning out a couple options of how to configure your own CRM.
Yep, absolutely. And as always, if you go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Zenatta, that is where you will find all of our videos. As you know, we release almost a video a day. So just head on over there and subscribe and like us and hit the bell so you get notifications and all that stuff, all over at youtube.com/Zenatta. And with that, Tyler, another CRM Zen Show is in the bag. We're 3 away from 300.
I know we got to pick whatever we're going to we're due to celebrate. We haven't even discussed it really. So
Art.
again, ask in the audience, anyone has any thoughts of how we should celebrate episode 300, make sure to let us know in the comment section down there.
Yeah, we did have a little fun on the marketing team. I threw out the idea that, hey, maybe we should do something around the 300. And Freddie made something that will never air, a blood splattered intro that was really great. But I just don't think it's appropriate. I don't know.
Yeah, we might get
I don't know.
demonetized. Yeah, we'll lose our $2 of ad revenue here of that week
was
on
good.
YouTube.
And we did the Hawaiian.
Yeah, by Josh's
shows that-
request, we did Hawaiian for 200.
The 200, we did the Hawaiian, and Tina and I were actually down in Zihuatanejo, I think, and I did it from like a balcony of something. I don't know why, windblown hair, but you wore a Hawaiian shirt just to keep it all going. But I don't know. I don't know. Something crazy. We got to come up with it. Audience, give us some suggestions. All right, Tyler, with that, let us wrap up our show. As always, if you would like to get in touch with us and see how we can help you with your Zoho instance, you can do so by heading over to Zenatta.com and clicking on Book a Meeting in the upper right-hand corner. Love to talk to you.
And on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
WooCommerce. I'm telling you, it's going to be big.
Hey, you can provide the seed capital for that one.